Good evening, students of ninth standard. Today we are going to see the poem On Killing a Tree, written by G.V. Patel. Sensitize the reader and highlights the fact that trees are living things. He equalizes trees with human to convey that trees should be kept as par with the human and should not be cut because destroying trees is just like killing a human being. A tree does not die by merely cutting because it regrows from where it is cut. If it has to be destroyed, then it has to be uprooted. The first stanza of the poem. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a jab of the knife will do it. It has grown, slowly consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. Here the meaning of jab is sudden rough blow, and leprous hide means discolored bark or the uneven color of the bark. A simple cut, the meaning of the stanza is, a simple cut does not destroy the tree. A tree grows gradually. It is uprooted. It is totally rooted in the soil. A plant takes nutrition from the soil to grow into a big tree. Tree is firmly from the soil to grow into a big tree. The tree is firmly bound with the soil. It takes in sunlight, water, and air to grow into a strong trunk and have many leaves. The second stanza. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much of pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal. From close to the ground will raise the curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if unchecked, will expand again to firmer size. Hack means cut roughly by striking heavy blows, and miniatures bow means small branches. The meaning of the stanza, human cut and chop the bark of the trees into many pieces, but that is not sufficient to destroy the tree. The point of the tree which gets cut gives out sap just like human begins to bleed. There is a serum or a liquid which comes out when we just cut the bark. The poet compares that with the blood of the human. And like how the blood clots after some time, the sap also gets clotted and then slowly it gets healed and gradually this would heal and from there new branches start growing. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. Anchoring earth means the trees are held securely with the help of the roots in the earth, like how the anchor stops big ship. Similarly, the roots, they hold the trees firmly. Snapped out, chopped out. The meaning of the stanza is, the poet says that in order to kill the tree, it has to be uprooted. The root has to be taken out totally from the earth or from the ground. One has to separate the tree from the earth which supports it. The root of the tree binds the tree with the soil in the pit of the earth. From there, the most sensitive and the hidden part of the tree, the roots, have to be detached. The roots are white in color and damp. Then the matter of scorching and choking in the sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. Scorching and choking means drying up of the tree after being uprooted. Here the poet says, once the tree has been uprooted, then gradually it withers and dries up with the action of heat and wind. The trunk will become brown, twist, and will harden. Finally, the tree will die this way. That is, it will totally get dried up. Now we are going to see what are the literary devices in this poem. This poem has got no rhyming scheme, so it is written in a free verse. So there is no rhyme or rhythm, but it has got one device called as enjambment. Enjambment means when one sentence continues into two or more lines. Not a single jab of knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth. Another one, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaf. The most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. The word enjambment comes from the 18th century French word for to stride over or encroach. And indeed, as we can see from the definition of enjambment, the poetic image or phrase straddles more than one line before it comes to the syntactic break. It's encroached. Like we can see how it goes. Rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. So this is called as enjambment. We also have metaphor. Metaphor means indirect comparison, like leprous hide. The uneven color of the surface of the trunk of the tree is compared to the skin of a person who is suffering from leprosy. Bleeding bark. Here, the sap which is coming out of the tree when it is cut is compared to the bleeding from the wound in the human's body. The next device is alliteration. Alliteration means repetition of consonant sound in two or more closely placed places like bleeding bark, white and wet. And the next device is repetition. To put emphasis or stress, repetition is used. Like the word pulled out is used again and again. Now we just see the summary of the poem. The summary of the poem on killing a tree is, it is a sensitive poem. The poet persuades the reader not to destroy trees and equalizes it with killing a human being. He says that a plant takes sunlight water, air, and nutrients from the soil and gradually becomes a huge tree. It develops a strong trunk and gets numerous leaves. Merely cutting the trunk of the tree does not kill it. When a tree is cut, the sap flows out just like a wounded man bleeds. Once the wound heals, new branches and tiny leaves grow from there, which becomes into a big tree. In order to destroy a tree, it has to be uprooted. The roots, which are white in color and are damp due to the moist in the soil, are hidden in the pit in the earth. These roots are the most sensitive part of the tree as they bind it to the earth. In order to kill the tree, these roots have to be detached from the soil. Once the roots are detached, the tree starts dying. It withers, dries up with the action of heat and wind, twists, hardens, and finally dies. That is, it gets dried up. Now let's see the question answers of this. The first question, can a simple jab of knife kill a tree? Why not? No, it can't kill a tree because a simple jab of knife cannot kill a tree. The place from where the tree is cut will give out sap, and once the wound heals, new branches and leaves will grow from it, which will develop into trees again. How has the tree grown to full size? List the word suggestive of its life and activity. The tree has grown by consuming nutrients from the earth, absorbing sunlight, air, and water. The words suggestive of its life and activity are consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, and water. What is the meaning of bleeding bark? What makes it bleed? Bleeding bark refers to the sap which flows out of the tree's bark when it is cut. The tree bleeds when it's cut with a knife. The poet says no in the beginning of the third stanza. What does he mean by this? No means that the tree will not die by cutting or chopping the trunk. What is the meaning of anchoring earth and earth cave? Anchoring earth means that earth supports the tree firmly. An earth cave refers to the pit in the earth where the roots of the tree bind it firmly to the earth. What does he mean by the strength of the tree exposed? The strength of the tree exposed means that upon being uprooted, the most sensitive and important part of the tree, that is, the root will no longer remain hidden in the earth or in the ground. What finally kills the tree? The tree dies when it is uprooted. That is, when it is detached from the earth, it withers, hardens, twists, and finally dies. That is, it gets dried. So this finishes off the poem, the question answers, and the summary, the poetic device of the poem, How to Kill a Tree, or on killing the tree. Thank you.